Ladies and gentlemen, the Angry Soccer Guy, Kyle Wilson, Kyle C. Wilson Official, whatever you call me, I'm back with another video. If this is your first time watching, I'm going to quickly go over my resume, so to speak. Played at every single level of youth soccer, from rec, travel, competitive to DA, before going to college and playing Division II in the NCAA, and then played semi-professionally where I was paid to play after my collegiate career. Not much, but I was paid to play. That was in France, and then came back and represented the United States men's national team at the 2019 Futsal World Cup in Misiones, Argentina. And I've had the privilege of training a variety of top-level players, so professional players, even generational talents like Kawan. I've trained a Champions League winner, Premier League winner, guy that's won the European Championship with Portugal. So I've done a lot of things. I don't have every answer, but what I will show you is a framework or like an idea that we're now bringing forward because of the issues found within U.S. youth soccer. So I'm going to highlight right now, and that's what we're going to look at today. So the question on screen, would my club, so if you don't know, I have a club in Orlando, Florida, would we ever take the badges or leagues found in U.S. youth soccer? Okay, and when I'm talking about badges and leagues, I'm talking about hey, we're going to provide you exposure. So think about the big boys like MLS Next, ECNL, EA, EAL, USYS Pro, and there's more. I can't remember all these acronyms that come out. NAL, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. But the question on screen is, would my club ever take one of those? And we're going to answer that today, here shortly, and I'll explain. People always say, well, Kyle, you only present problems, you don't present solutions. I'm going to present you today the biggest solution in the country that I believe is the right step to move development forward, and you're going to see how here shortly. Okay, so hopefully that will make sense in a second. Now let's look at the question, think about the question. I'm going to answer it here in a second. So one word, no. And everybody keeps asking me like, well, why wouldn't you take the badges? Don't you want to help get kids out? Yeah, you don't need the badges to get kids out. It's almost like an urban myth, but then people will come out and say, well, Kyle, if you look at the statistics, the numbers say ECNL or MLS Next is the ones that get the most players out. Sure, you're right. Well, there's a couple of reasons behind that. Say ECNL for girls and MLS Next for boys. Well, that's because that's where everybody's flocking to. If you flock to it, the better players are going to be there, right? Which means you'll have more attention to it. But what I think people don't account for is the guys that are getting out are the ones that actually have a plan to get out. So it's not like they're hoping and praying that they get out of the system. They probably have support in terms of somebody helping them through college, or they already have a pathway to get through college. So like somebody knows how to navigate the system. If you're just wishing and praying to get out, the chance of you getting out is like the chance of you winning a Ballon d'Or as a championship player, or somebody that's not the top level, right? You're not Ronaldo, you're not Messi. You're not winning a Ballon d'Or. That's just the point that I'm trying to make. So if you have a plan, you can get out. And the key thing is contacts. If you have contacts, you have a network, you can get out. You don't need to play in those leagues. And then the people, again, will say, well, the numbers state that MLS Next and ECNL have the highest percentage of getting out. Yes, they do. I agree with you. But you don't need them to get out if you have a plan. And that's what I'm trying to highlight. So we don't need a badge. I don't need a badge. I don't believe that the badge is the way out. And I'm going to explain my thought process here in a second. Why? And you're probably going to say, well, Kyle, that's ridiculous. Cool. Before you get upset and say that I'm the angry soccer guy, let me explain and show you why, and then I'll provide you my solution. So here are the key things here when it comes to my issues with the badges. Okay, and there's quite a few, so I'm going to try and run through them quickly. First one, development versus taking. So when you start getting into all these badges, you no longer have to develop kids. You don't have to. You can just take. That's why it says development versus taking. So let's look at it. Let's look at like a club that has MLS Next. Okay, so this club that has MLS Next, there's tons of them. Well, every single year they're going to host tryouts. They're then going to select the best, let's call it 15 to 20 players for their team. They can recycle a whole new crew every single year because influx of kids. If you have MLS Next, ECNL, pick your league, as long as they promote exposure, you're going to get a bunch of kids. every single time. You look at all the marketing, tryouts coming up. It has MLS Next on their flyer, ECNL, it has EA, EAL, USYS Pro. Pick your league, it's on the flyer. That attracts attention. Okay, so people want to flock to that. Now, let's go back real quick to development versus taking players. When you have those badges, you don't need to develop because you're always going to have new players come in. So when you have new players come in, you no longer have to develop the talent. You just take the talent, you keep them for 1 to 2 years, and then you recycle and go get more kids. It's a constant machine, it's almost like a funnel that goes like this, that takes the kids and flushes them in, flushes them out. That's how it works. Okay, so second point is they're going to focus on age group only. So this means that you're going to have kids that are U15 playing only U15, and then they're going to only play U16, and they're only going to play U17. Long story short, they're only going to play their age group. They're not going to go be challenged by playing up. Is there an exception to the rule? You may have the one kid that's in the pay-to-play system that is the exception to the rule. Maybe, you're right. Maybe. Okay, but for everybody else, it's age group only. So I've already highlighted the influx of kids. If they have the badge, you will have an influx of kids because everybody wants to play for the badges. Okay, I love this one. FOMO, fear of missing out. Well, everybody feels like if they don't play in the badges, they're not going to get somewhere. And the truth is, the majority of the players are not going to get somewhere anyways. I want to make sure that's abundantly clear. The percentage of players that, let's say, play ECNL or MLS Next, 90% are not going to the next level. They're going to stay in MLS Next, or they're going to leave youth soccer and not go to college, or they're going to be in ECNL, for example, and they're not going to leave and go to college. They're just going to phase out of youth soccer. Well, what happens next? Exactly. So 90% of the kids aren't leaving to go to college, or if they're lucky above that, pro. So what's the point, right? It's just, I hope that makes sense. Okay, final one, exposure. I'll use one of the badges. I love this one. I recycle a post all the time, and I made a video specifically about it. They put 156 college coaches invited. What? Invited? That doesn't mean attending in any way, shape, or form. That just means that they sent an email. Hey, we'd like you, Coach John from Kyle Wilson's University, to come check out our tournament. We've invited you. Please come. And they can mark it as invited. That's easy to do. It's the exposure piece. Hey, we're selling you the dream that your kid can get somewhere. Well, the kids that are only good enough will get somewhere. My opinion. Plus with the network, that's the other piece. Okay. And then the last one is you have to supply a certain number of teams. Okay. So let's say your group plays in MLS Next, right? Or ECNL. You have to be able to supply, on average, usually 3 teams at a minimum to join the league. Once they've approved you, you have to provide 3 age groups. So for example, 2011, okay, let's do it a different way. U13, U15, U17. Whatever the age groups are, but it's typically 3, at least 3. They're going to say you need to provide U13, U15, U17. Well then, what are you going to go do? You're going to go recruit and go get kids for those age groups because you want to have that in your locker. It's not, where I'm really going with this is you don't have to earn it as long as you have the platform. You can get the players. You don't have to go take a team, develop that team, get them to a higher level. So for example, you could start at EDP local. Okay. Then you go to EDP metro. Then you go to EDP sub-regional. Then you go to ECNLR. Then you go to ECNL. And then you go to MLS Next. Doesn't work like that. I'm talking about the same group of kids. That's not how this works. You just have to get into a league or a club that has these leagues. So hopefully this makes sense with my issues with the badges and why I would never take them. Because just look at this first part right here. Development versus taking. And this is why I've started the project Guest FC. I don't like taking other people's kids. That's just not my thing. I like to develop kids. I like to have a hand in their development. Well, if I take the badges, I don't have to do that anymore, if that makes sense. I don't have to focus on trying to develop kids. Let's put it this way. I like taking people's rejects and turning them into gold. That's what I do. I take kids that aren't that good. We build them into something to help them get out. Right? It's not easy, but it takes a lot of work. But we are willing to do the dirty work. We're willing to do the development. We're not just going to take some of these kids. We want to develop to help them get better. And that's just my thing. So just looking at this piece here, right? Development versus taking. Forget any other reason. This is the sole reason here that I would not take the badges, personally. Okay, so this is actually me playing in a badge league. I don't know how you can see it, but right here on my white shirt, I played for a club called McLean, which is in Northern Virginia. And this is when the Development Academy, the DA, this was my first year in the DA, played, and I played for the badge. Okay? So I'm not saying that I, again, have every answer, but I've been in the experience of playing for a badge. Right? That's me. I'm a senior in high school or a junior in high school. I can't remember which one it is at this point, but I played in the badge. I wore the badge. I know what it feels like because it's crazy because it's so hype. Like when it came out, me and my family were like, oh my God, you have to play in the badge. Oh, they're talking about how all this marketing and they're going to have scouts and you're going to do all this. Yeah, it gets you excited. You want to play in the badge. I've been through it because when the DA came out, they hyped this thing up like it was going to be the greatest pathway. And by pathway, they mentioned like the best players, the best development paths. Well, then what did they start doing? Adding teams and adding teams and adding teams. So what happened was it started watering down the level, unfortunately. So as long as that continues to happen, you're going to have the same issue. So it's annoying. And then a couple years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to fix this whole thing. I was like, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. You can develop in club and you can help kids get out of the system. Well, what I found was you can develop lower level skilled players, like let's say Division 4, Division 3, I'm talking about like the Team 3, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4 kids at clubs, like bigger clubs. You can take those kids and build them into Team 1 kids. I've done that multiple times. However, I have struggled because I don't have the badges to convince everybody to stay because it's a better opportunity for them. The exit interviews when we finish with players and they're like, hey, we're moving on is we're going to a badge and or Kyle, you don't win enough. We want to win more. Okay. So badge, there's nothing I can do. I can't compete against it in terms of they think it's a better platform for them. Fine. And then on the flip side, winning enough is we would take kids and have them go play up. Well, if they go play up and they lose, parents get upset because they're not winning. And it's funny because we just had a conversation with a parent with an exit interview and they were like, you know, Kyle, we were upset because we went to a tournament with you and you decided not to play a kid. He didn't commit to the tournament. Why would I play him? Oh, well, when we go to tournaments, we want to win. Okay, that's great. I want to win too, but I'm going to win with the people that said they're going to go to a tournament, not anybody else. Just like, hopefully that makes sense. Like, I want to win doing the right thing. I don't want to just win for the sake of winning. And if that doesn't fit with your model, cool, then I'm not the fit for you. Just as an example, right? And that's okay. Like, it's no problem. But where I'm going with this is I thought I could fix badges through my club because I don't want the badges. Now, I'm not going to say impossible, but it's virtually impossible because badges will reign supreme and it's the marketing material that just creates FOMO and hype. So I've now realized that this is virtually impossible. So this is where my solution comes into play here shortly. And trying to do it through a club that everybody else has is a losing battle every single day. And like the number of times that I have restarted teams because we lost players because they went to a badge. Dude, it's hard. It sucks. But we like to develop, so it's okay. Like it still motivates me to want to go develop kids. But it's literally a losing battle every single day. Now, continuing this. So this is where I've talked about it once before, but this is where I believe the only realistic path forward is a private school in this country. Well, what does that mean? You're probably thinking private school. What is he talking about? Yes. So because of the U.S. youth soccer model, the way it is set up, with the way with the badges, the way it operates, if we want to try and get kids out of the system, right, to go on to college and be student athletes, if that's their goal, or to be professional if they're good enough, right, you have to provide a platform that actually allows them to get there, okay? I don't believe the badges based on current model in the U.S. youth soccer climate is the way to go. And there's a reason why, like, the men's has never won a World Cup. The women's, my opinion, you may not agree, that's fine, are going to go from being the top dog to middle to lower pack in the next 3 to 7 years. Probably, it could be less, but and the reason for that is, I'll give you a quick story. So I'm very good friends with the technical director at Olympique Lyonnais for the Girls Academy. And he used to always ask me up until 2021 about every 3 to 6 months for girl players for the academy or for the first team. Then 2021 hit and he stopped doing it. And I'm like, well, why is he not asking me anymore? And he's like, long story short, I asked him and he's like, we don't need the players anymore. We've filled our academy and our first team's solid. Okay. Well, the difference with them is, for example, and this goes for basically any other club, Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, whatever teams that have women's programs, is that the academy is free, the girls don't pay, and the first team, the women, get paid. Well, how many programs here in this country offer girls development for free? One, and I don't even know what program that is. So how is it realistically going to compete in the long run? There's no ECNL program that I know of that's free. I mean, okay, let's assume that there's one program that's ECNL that's free for all the girls. Okay, that's one. But if every club, professional club in France, for example, or England has girls playing soccer for free, and let's say it's 100 girls, because they're going to have 3 to 5 age groups before they get to the pros, if not more. Well, that's at least 100 girls playing soccer for free compared to thousands of girls paying to play when the environment, the structure is poor. Well, that's going to tip the scale at a certain degree where we're going to stop going like this. We're going to plateau. And then eventually it's going to start doing this. Because their level in Europe is going to go like this. So this is the thing that I think is key here. As long as, and this is the key phrase here, and it might be on the next slide. Yeah, okay. So private school, in my opinion, is the way to go moving forward until the acronym leagues die. Well, just for reference, the acronym leagues are not going to die until parents stop paying for them. And then 2, MLS, the professional level, says, you know what, we're going to open promotion and relegation for everybody. That will never happen in my lifetime. And I'll tell you why. If you and me want to go start an MLS franchise, we want to own, let's call it, I don't know, man, Tallahassee FC, right? I just picked a quick state or location, right? Tallahassee FC in Florida. Well, we're going to have to spend $300 million just on the franchise. Do you think you and me want to go lose $300 million in the first year by being relegated? No. So we're making these investments for MLS to get an MLS franchise. I'm not losing my money first year, second year, third year, 10th year. The whole point of me making this investment is so that way I can grow the business so it becomes more valuable. So instead of being a $300 million entity, it's now worth $1 billion. So this has to be the model, in my opinion, until the acronym leagues die. And the reason for that is I talked to a very good friend of mine who built one of the best private schools, so what's called a residency program. And it wasn't just from a monetary standpoint. He was able to build one of the best residency programs about development. In 12 years, 50 professional players and 250 college student athletes just from soccer. And you know what's crazy? Check this out. Check this out. They didn't have a badge. They didn't play in a league. They didn't have a league. Like, I want that to hit you in the head real quick. 50 professional soccer players in 12 years with no league. 250 college student athletes, no league. Well, how do you get these kids out of here? Contacts, proper development, proper opportunities. So just because you don't play league doesn't mean you can't find ways to give them proper games. Like, I mean, I could get super frustrated, but it's just like, you don't have to play in these badges to get out. If you find a program that focuses on development, that provides a platform, and they have the connections, you can get out. That's harder said than done. However, this is why I'm highlighting. The key is private school. It has to, there is no other solution, in my opinion, in this country, in current landscape. Okay? So, you're like, okay, what is he talking about? Cool. Here's where my solution comes into play. This is where Beast Residency comes into effect. Well, what's Beast Residency? Here's Beast Residency. This is my new program that's starting in August 2024. That is a full-time private school. Okay, let's see where this goes. It's going to be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, Monday through Friday. And I'll walk you through a schedule in a second. Each student athlete, which I'll expand on in a second, will get a personalized education plan. I believe that the current landscape of education in this country from a public school standpoint, one, is outdated. Two, teaches you how to live like inside the box, to be safe and not take risk. And then three, doesn't properly prepare them for the future, for life. Because I went through the entire system from an educational standpoint. I went public school until I graduated high school. I went to college and got a business degree. I didn't know jack squat when I got out. Like, it's crazy. So we will help them build, and I'll explain more of this later, but individualized education plans. Okay? Which means we're going to better prepare them for life. Because if they have a personalized education plan to prepare them for life, or from an educational standpoint to help them get out, then we can do things to help them prepare for life. And I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, especially in this generation, kids, they struggle to, because of COVID, and in my opinion, electronics, the two main factors here, kids struggle to have an eye-to-eye conversation with somebody and actually speak eye-to-eye and be able to engage in dialogue. They can maybe like say the person's name and get upset, and I'll give you an example. I had two kids at practice the other day, and they were getting mad at each other, and the only word they were saying was each other's names. And I'm like, what are you two yelling about? And these were young kids. These were like 11-year-old or 10-year-olds. I'm like, what are you guys yelling about? They're like, oh, he should know. I'm like, I'm the coach, and I don't even know what you're talking about, so can you please explain? He should know. I'm like, I'm still telling you, I am the coach watching you guys interact from the outside, and I don't know what you're talking about. So there's just things like that the kids don't know how to communicate. And that's a huge problem. So if they can't communicate as children, they don't learn how are they going to be prepared for life? Okay. Now, I love this one here. Individual development on steroids. So our slogan is called Unleash the Beast, right? So Beast Residency, Beast. And our development process let me take you to the pillars first, and I'll explain in a second. So our three main pillars of the program: improve the person, improve the student, improve the athlete. By the way, this is in Orlando, Florida. Okay, but going back now, so we have preparation for life, personalized education plans, and then individual development on steroids. So, like bodybuilders, they sometimes would take steroids. This is individual development of players, the student athlete, on steroids. And the key thing here is, which is awesome, without the injection. You don't need to take an injection to cheat to get where you want to go. This is your cheat sheet. So that's how great this is, okay? We are going to meet student athletes at their level. So from a life standpoint, an education standpoint, and a sporting standpoint. And currently, because some people have asked me, it is commuter only. So we don't have dorms. We don't have a place for the kids to stay. You'd have to either move to Orlando or live in Orlando to make the trip to the facility to do the training and to do the school and all that. Okay, so it's in Orlando, Florida, but this is the summary of what the program looks like. But just, you might ask, what does this mean? Okay, so you're going to arrive a typical schedule, 8 o'clock, train from 8:30 to 10:30, and that would either be individual or group setting. And just to highlight quickly, this is not a club, this is not a team, this is club neutral. So it's an event, it's a program focused on individual development. This is not, I'm going to say it again, this is not a team. This is not a program. This is all about individual. It's the key word of club neutral. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, what we're looking to do here. And it's all about meeting student athletes at their level to prepare them for the future. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And again, there are three pillars: improve the person, improve the student, and improve the athlete, located in Orlando, Florida. Now, if you want to learn more, I'm going to post this video in a second. Comment on this video, Residency, or if you want, you can shoot me a DM, okay? And I will send you a free gift for when you submit the official interest. So we have an interest form that you need to fill out. I'll send it to you. And once you fill it out, I can send you a free gift just for submitting your interest in the residency program that we have. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity for you guys to gain additional information if it's something you like. Consider in Orlando, Florida. Okay, and that's what will happen. And I'll post this video in a second, and you can comment Residency or just shoot me a DM, and I'll send it to you. Okay, so that way you can have access to the programming, and hopefully we can help you guys out. Don't do it here because the video is not posted yet, but just wait a second, and I'll send it to you guys. Okay. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a good night. I'll post this here momentarily, and then we can get this rolling, and I'll communicate with you guys here shortly. Thanks so much. Have a great day.